Hari Om. Continue reading the Yoga Chudamani Upanishads, and we're in the mantra 38, Method of Awakening. Mukhi nachyadya tadvaram prasurpta parameshvari pravuda vagni yogena manasa maruta saha. Translation is Paramesvari or Kundalini is at rest, closing the doorway with her mouth. She can be awakened through the mind along with the prana by the fire of yoga. The commentary is the Kundalini is referred to by many names: Kundali, the coiled one; Kutilangi, the crook-bodied; Kunda Shakti, the power of the death, referring to Muladhara; Pujangi, the female serpent; Shakti, primal force; Devi, goddess, and so on. Reference to Parameshvari in the mantra indicates the supreme, non-decaying aspect of Kundalini. Even while manifesting in the growth body, the Kundalini is experienced as a subtle, transcendental force, the essence of which is beyond change or destruction. This potential force has come to rest at Muladhara, closing the doorway of Sushumna with its mouth. This state is indicative of man's great nonsense, which can only be removed by the awakening and ascending of this transcendental force. As long as this force remains in a dormant state, man is aware of the external world of duality and asleep to the inner reality. And here it's the first passage in it demonstrates us how the snake is with the mouth closed sleeps at the base of Sushumna, at the base with your Muladhara chakra here at the bottom, in the resting place of Kundalini or Shakti, or whatever you want to call her, Devi, coiled one, crooked one, and so on, the goddess. In the previous mantra, we talked about bioelectric properties of the Kundalini as well, and sometimes people ask me, they have experiences through the practices, the yoga practices, and they're not sure if this was the Kundalini awakening. And the only answer I can give them is the moment it happened, you will know. So it's absolutely straightforward sensations. And another thing, whatever happened with you through your yoga practice, if you are not sure what's happening, maybe it could be your mind illusion or something you thought you experienced, or just similar experiences, or just opening the doorway. But the moment you have the profound experience, it's the main properties of it that the questions falls apart. So you will have this knowing feeling. And remember, we talked about this previous mantras, the knower of the yoga. So the questions will drop away. So you will know you have this particular experience. And it might be different, it might be not as it's described in the scriptures, but you will have your own understanding of what's happened to you. Or you will remember something from your previous experiences in this or previous lives, or you will definitely sure that it's something outside of your everyday experiences we have, even the most profound ones when we get something, usually when people get some kind of sickness or something unusual happen, or they go somewhere in the mountains, something profound happened to them, and they have these unusual experiences, not everyday experiences, and this is the most ones that they remember through the life. They're super extra happy or extra sad, extra scared. But in yoga experience, whatever you do, it will come to you, and you will know this is how it is. So when you have Kundalini awakening or rising up, descent. The question is this will drop away, yeah? And trying to not to rely so much on your overthinking and analyzing in that sense, just trying to rather focusing on the lower aspects of it, of feeling and experiencing, and listen to your heart, yeah, when something like that happens. So here first, we are asleep, it says, and we are aware of the external world of duality. So you see, it's again, we come into this very close connection, duality. You experience duality, you're not awakened, yeah? This world is formed by duality, so it's the primal structure of the world of duality. And that's the reason we have this world around us, and it's so diverse, and we have so many different pieces of souls, separated, scattered, and everybody has separate experience. That's the point of the division, subdivision of the Shakti, to have more possibilities to explore the world. And then the interesting correlation with that I always think about, it's the surface. If you have a plain polished surface, the drops of water will have the least amount of the surface area to contact with this plain surface, and it will probably faster dry it. But if you have surface very uneven and a lot of hills, topography, or even like pointy needles all around it, kind of like a velvet type of surfaces, and you wetted it, you have much more surface area contact with it. So you're multiplying the surface area of that. Yeah? So you will need more water to water it, and at the same time probably will be faster to dry it. So it changes this, and similar with the life experience. So if I go by myself into the forest, I don't know, looking for the berries, I have only 2 eyes, 1 concentration point, I'll find 1 bush, and it'll be harder for me. There will be 10 of us going together into the forest, 10 couples of eyes, somebody looking there, somebody meanwhile there, and we will, not if 10 times or even more, find berries. So think about this when you question the existence and duality, and you question why we have to have so many different people, why they have such a different characters and desires. The answer a little bit simpler than we think. It's so that we have more opportunity to experience, re-experience this life and get knowledge. Yeah, so that was the original primary idea of the creation of this particular, in this time, universe, yeah, according to the scriptures. So the force can be simulated and awakened by the fire of yoga through the practices which harmonize and activate the mind and prana. The force of mind is known as Chitta Shakti, which Chitta is the mind and Shakti is the prana force, Shakti, which flows through the Ida passage, and the vital force known as the Prana Shakti, which flows through the Pingala passage. So you differentiate Chitta, mind, Prana, and always the Pranas. The ascent of Kundalini or Atma Shakti, so it's rising up, Atma Shakti, through the Sushumna passage only take place after the Ida and Pingala channels have been fully regulated and activated. There must be coordination between the mental and vital gross force. So the mental, subtle, and the vital gross force. The whole system of yoga is based on principle and practices that help to attain this harmony, which is prerequisite to the awakening of Kundalini. So it's like a condition you have to have. So everything, and again repetition, and in my pranayama series we talk about this a lot. We just by practicing pranayamas, any practices directed to harmonize these 2 channels. Any yoga practice on the mat, of course, the asanas, bandhas you do, any other chanting, everything you do in yoga, it's everything that will balance you. And it's not just something yogis say in general, I want to balance myself, like I want to be spiritual. It's a very specific thing. So you're balancing either Pingala, the 2 channels, because usually one will dominate, and you're invoking, so by creating this double energy pulse of 2 flowing nadis, prana channels, you're invoking and waking up like a vacuum. You're creating possibility for the Kundalini to wake up and go up. And you can think about this like you're creating the electromagnetic force field. You cannot have electricity running through a particular field unless you create condition, plus, minus, whatever you need to create for the passage. So the current will not stop and then go back again, or just disappears. And that's most of the time what's happened if you think about our body is like some kind of bioelectric field, you can call it whatever, and magnetic and electric. So by practicing, I opening up channels, kind of give the special charge to them. So somewhere energy ascending, somewhere descending. So I have to stabilize it, to create this condition. So the Kundalini, the main kind of like a flow of the energy through through the main channel, everything collected, go into this channel and rise up. So that's how I can explain it in a more kind of physical, materialistic way. Yeah? And it's very perfectly described in this Upanishad. The 5 yoga refers to here can be understood as the prana gathered by yogic practices and lifestyle that are sustained over a period of time. This prana manifests throughout the body in the form of tejas or physical luster, and it's stored at Manipura, which is also known as Agni Mandala, the zone of fire. Manipura, so it's our chakra around our belly digestion. The yogic fire helps to prepare for the awakening of Kundalini by burning up toxins in the system, which block the free flow of prana and increasing the quantum of prana in the nadis. Some practices of Kundalini yoga are designed to increase the yogic fire, and others are used to explode it and send it forth up Sushumna to achieve a more ongoing awakening. So it says some practices you actually just creating a fire, and some practices you actually directed it. And a very simple example, if you do any yoga practices with me, we're doing Muktasanas or Shakti bandhas when we're just waking up the digestion. We do something on the core, kind of, you would say. But we do moving the organs, squeezing and opening and squeezing the space around the belly, Manipura, so you're creating a fire. And then you structure your practice that when you harvest all this energy, and then you have to reverse the current of the flow of the energy throughout. So you will do inversions, you will do a lot of kind of Kriya practices on bringing energy from the bottom up through the chakras towards the crown or Ajna. Yeah. Kundalini awaken from Manipura with a great surge because the yogic fire empowers it. Yes, so remember we talked about the Kundalini rise starts with Manipura, and as I told you, this majority of the Buddhist monk, this is their main practices. So specifically Tantra, we also include lower chakras, and we don't have to wait when we like fully master towards the level of Manipura and create the fire there, rather than any stage of our practice can reason and awaken the Kundalini, call for Kundalini. There's no solution which one is correct way, which one's not. I know that with very good guru teacher and the dedication of your practice, any of these practices will work. I just invite you to explore more. So it's not only one way in yoga or Kundalini rising. Yeah. So Kundalini awakening from Manipura, generally when the Kundalini rises from Muladhara, it falls back after a short distance. Yeah, so that's, see, maybe if you start from Manipura, it's for sure. Yeah. However, when the yogi fire detonates this force, it never falls back. For this reason, some traditions consider Manipura to be the starting point of Kundalini awakening and not Muladhara. And that's exactly what I've been talking many times before. So in this book, you already have answers for wherever you have questions. That's basically a very straightforward description of how Kundalini you can harvest, how you balance it out, and how you rise it up. And at some point, so if you're not prepared, so you don't have this condition when you're both either balanced, Sushumna, open up, everything else, you work through all your other Samskaras. Can you arise your Kundalini? Yes, you probably can, and many people do, but it could be that you will be a little bit more struggling maybe. It could be also that your options are just not going to happen for you, or it might happen, but it might like go wrong, So what I mean by go wrong, it's not just like the Kundalini rising is bad, yeah? Is it bad or good for us, yeah? That's the question people ask. Some people don't even go there because it's something evilish. You don't want to waken up your snake inside of you, yeah? In terms of it will go bad, I already told this before when we talk about the chakras, Svatisthana specifically, or Mula, Manipur. If you didn't work through your samskaras on these lower levels, you didn't clean up all your channels properly, you're not ready to rise it up higher, you might find that it's all this burst of energy goes somewhere, it doesn't reach a particular level, and good if it goes back down. You might just pushing through those levels where it's stuck, and you might feel extra sad or extra re-experience something from your trauma from the past. You might experience a particular anger or become more fiery person, and, or opposite, lethargic, and might experience depression. And it's quite common, and people experience these things throughout practice of yoga anyway. So you have these stages when you go through everything amazing, I love everything, and then you're totally on the bottom of the pit and you experience the sadness of the world and biggest depression of your life. And the only recommendation is just continue practice. Continue practice. It's just your passage, no matter what it will bring to you. And I had same. It's rising. You ready to fly. You are actually physically flying, and at the time you experience the biggest sadness and disappointment, and like you don't want to do anything. So that's things. It's normal. It's like in everyday life. But when you do your practice of yoga, you can kind of control it. So you know where you are. You have guidance. You know what to do. You can correct it, and you have the biggest support. It's your guru teacher or the God or the gracious Kundalini. So I hope for you it will be pleasant, fast, and interesting experience. And the best advice I can give, like, do not pose any expectation. Be open to anything will come to you, and stay detached. So take everything as deep as you can, and then meanwhile be as detached as you can, if you understand what I mean. Hari Om.